Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. You're not going to believe the bombshell that just dropped out of Frisco. The Dallas Cowboys have made a move that's not just surprising, it's downright electrifying. James Houston, the former Detroit Lions pass rushing sensation, is now officially a Dallas Cowboy. And let me tell you right now, this isn't just another offseason pickup. This could be one of the smartest, most high upside signings the Cowboys have made in recent years. If you're not paying attention to this, you better start, because James Houston brings something to the table that Dallas has been quietly craving for a while now: raw, game-changing disruption off the edge with almost no financial risk. We're talking about a player who's barely scratched the surface of his potential and is already proving that when he's on the field, quarterbacks should be running for their lives. So let's dive into what makes this deal so intriguing, what it could mean for Dan Quinn's defense, and how James Houston could end up being the biggest steal of the offseason. First things first, for those of you who might not be as familiar with James Houston, let's talk about the resume. He's not your typical undrafted project or developmental guy. This is someone who, in just a short span of time, has flashed brilliance at the professional level. Houston was a 6th-round pick by the Lions in the 2022 NFL Draft out of Jackson State, where he transferred after starting his college career at Florida. Now, get this, he had a breakout season at Jackson State, recording 16.5 sacks and forcing 7 fumbles in just 13 games. Those are video game numbers, folks. And even though he fell to the later rounds of the draft, anyone who followed his tape knew he had something special brewing. Detroit took a flyer on him, and what happened next? He exploded onto the scene in his rookie NFL season with a jaw-dropping debut. In just 7 games, Houston racked up 8 sacks. That's right, 8 sacks in 7 games. We're talking about a pressure rate that rivals some of the top-tier edge rushers in the league, and he was doing it with limited snaps. That kind of efficiency is rare. It's the kind of production that has defensive coordinators licking their chops and offensive coordinators losing sleep. Now, let's talk about why the Cowboys made this move and what it means in the grander scheme of their defensive puzzle. We all know that Micah Parsons is the heart and soul of this defense. He's the generational weapon who can line up anywhere and cause havoc. But one of the strategic challenges Dallas has faced is making sure they don't overuse Micah strictly as a pass rusher. The team wants to unleash him in different roles, drop him in coverage, spy quarterbacks, and more. To do that, they need someone else who can win one-on-one off the edge. Enter James Houston. With his burst, bend, and relentless motor, he has the exact skill set that can keep pressure dialed up without always needing Micah to do all the heavy lifting. It gives Dan Quinn the flexibility he craves. It gives the Cowboys a fresher Parsons late in games. And most importantly, it gives Dallas another threat in passing situations. Houston may not be a household name yet, but in terms of raw pass rushing potential, he's already proven he can hang with the best when given the opportunity. One of the most fascinating aspects of this signing is just how low risk, high reward it is. The Cowboys didn't have to give up a draft pick or overpay on a risky free agent contract. They're getting a guy who's still on a rookie deal with something to prove. And let's not ignore the fact that Houston's journey has made him one of the most motivated players in the league. This is someone who was overlooked, passed over, and had to battle for every snap he got. He plays with that chip on his shoulder. That hunger is exactly the kind of mentality that fits in with this Cowboys locker room, especially on the defensive side, where players like DeMarcus Lawrence, Darren Bland, and of course Micah Parsons have all had to overcome their own narratives. Houston walks into a system that knows how to maximize talent. Dan Quinn has made a career out of developing overlooked or miscast defenders into stars. Just ask guys like Jaron Kearse or Malik Hooker how their careers turned around under Quinn's guidance. Now imagine what he can do with a raw but dangerous edge talent like Houston. Let's take a moment to look at the numbers because stats don't lie. In Houston's rookie year, he had a pass rush win rate of over 20%, which puts him in the elite tier of NFL rushers. To put that into perspective, most top pass rushers hover around the 15% to 18% range. Houston was blowing that out of the water on a per-snap basis. And again, he did it with limited reps, meaning offensive lines weren't always game planning for him. But that also means his numbers could be even better when given consistent opportunities. The Cowboys coaching staff clearly sees that potential. They see someone who can become a key rotational piece or even a breakout starter opposite Parsons if things click in camp. And that's the beautiful part. Training camp is where it all starts. Houston is now headed to Oxnard, and he's got every reason to go full throttle from day one. He knows he's fighting for a prominent role on one of the NFL's top defensive units. And Cowboys Nation should be watching closely, because if he picks up the system quickly and stays healthy, he could be a secret weapon by week 1. Let's also talk about scheme fit, which can't be overstated. Houston isn't a one-dimensional speed rusher. He's shown flashes of versatility. At Jackson State, he lined up as an outside linebacker and defensive end. He dropped into coverage at times, set the edge against the run, and showed an understanding of leverage and hand usage that's rare for such a young player. In Dallas, he'll be part of a defense that thrives on movement, disguise, and attacking from all angles. Dan Quinn loves to mix up his fronts, run stunts, and create chaos. Houston is a perfect fit for that kind of organized madness. His quick get-off, low pad level, and ability to bend around the edge make him a natural fit for wide 9 alignments and sub-package rush roles. Imagine a third and long scenario where the Cowboys trot out a pass rush group that includes Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, and James Houston. That's 4 different types of pass rushers coming at you with speed, power, and technique. Good luck, quarterbacks. From a locker room standpoint, this move also strengthens the culture. Houston brings with him a survivor's mentality. He's had to work his way up, and players like that don't take opportunities for granted. The younger players, especially guys like Sam Williams, who's still developing, can learn a lot from Houston's journey. The veterans in the locker room are also going to respect a guy who's grinded his way through adversity. And let's not forget, Houston isn't just here to ride the bench. He's here to compete. That competition level in camp is going to be fierce, and it's exactly what you want. Iron sharpens iron, and the more internal competition Dallas has, the better the entire team becomes. Training camp is where under-the-radar players become starters. It's where depth charts shift and stars emerge. James Houston is entering that environment with a clear goal to prove that his production wasn't a fluke and that he belongs on the field, not the sideline. Now, what about expectations? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves and say he's going to lead the league in sacks, but if he stays healthy and earns his reps, double-digit sacks is not out of the question. That's how high his ceiling is. And considering Dallas didn't have to give up anything major to get him, even if he ends up being a situational pass rusher, it's still a massive win. But let's be honest, this is the kind of player who could blossom into much more. He's already shown he can get to the quarterback. Now it's about consistency, scheme fit, and trust from the coaching staff. And from everything we're hearing so far, the Cowboys are very high on his upside. They believe he can contribute right away. And if that happens, Dallas just added a lethal weapon to a defense that's already loaded with talent. Let's not forget the broader context of this signing. The NFC is wide open this year. The Eagles are strong, sure. The 49ers are dangerous, no doubt. But Dallas is right there in the mix, and the difference between a playoff exit and a deep run often comes down to depth and rotational players making big plays. James Houston could be that difference maker in a key moment, a strip sack in a tight game, a third down pressure that forces a pick, a surprise impact in a playoff shootout. These are the moments that define seasons. And these are the kinds of players hungry, under the radar, explosive, who can change the entire trajectory of a game, a defense, even a franchise. We've seen it before. Who's to say it won't happen again? So, to everyone who's asking if this is just a depth signing or a low-key training camp body, think again. James Houston is a calculated move by a front office that knows exactly what it's doing. The Cowboys are all in on building a championship-level defense, and they just added a weapon that most teams slept on. That's how great teams operate. They don't just chase headlines, they build quietly, strategically, and smart. Houston may not be the headline-grabbing superstar just yet, but don't be surprised if, by mid-season, everyone is talking about him as one of the most important additions of the year. Cowboys Nation, keep your eyes on number 59. You might be watching the rise of Dallas' next defensive star. And that's the latest from Frisco, folks. James Houston is officially a Dallas Cowboy, and the upside on this move is through the roof. This is the kind of signing that could tilt the balance in key games, unlock new levels of defensive dominance, and give the Cowboys the edge they've been looking for. If you're as excited about this as we are, drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Can James Houston be the next breakout pass rushing star in Big D? How do you think he fits into Dan Quinn's system? And which offensive line do you think he'll terrorize first? Thanks for riding with us, Cowboys Nation. Make sure to like the video, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss a breaking update. We've got more training camp coverage, player breakdowns, and insider news coming your way, so stay locked in. Until next time, this is your home for all things Dallas Cowboys. Let's go!